I believe that all of us, everywhere, have an instinctive knowing that we're all connected. There's a part of us that just knows we're one with all life and each other. We know that. And I believe to truly be authentically and fully human, which is a journey we're all on, to be fully awake as the spiritual beings, because of course we're spirits first, to be fully authentic who we are here to be the instrument of peace, the channel of peace. How are you doing so far? It's a tough time to be that channel. It's not so easy because we get triggered by lots of things. And there's lots of things in our world. Our world is growing and evolving and changing. And so often when it's changing at this rapid pace, there's so much chaos. We think, why am I here? But the thing I know for sure that keeps me going and growing and loving and caring is I know that in every single person, there is that spark, that peace of God, that gift that qualifies them, each one of us, to be here right now in this process of growing and evolving and taking that journey into oneness. Now remember, oneness doesn't mean there's uniformity at all. Oneness means diversity is the world of diversity, is a universe of unity, that we all come from the same source. Now, again, I believe we know this at a deep level, but in 1997, a man, a scientist, Fritjof Capra, published a book called The Web of Life, the new scientific approach to living systems. And he explained that the new science, the modern science, previously had said that we're all a collection of parts. There's a bunch of groups that aren't connected, that just come together or interact at times. But this new modern science said we are all an interconnected whole, and everything, starting with the sun and the power of the sun, everything connects in ways of energy and nutrients and sharing and growing together. But that's not so new. I mean, 5,000 years ago, we've had this on our screen a multiple of times. Indra's net from the Vedic tradition shows the interconnectedness of the web of life, where at each intersection there is a jewel, which is us. A jewel at every intersection, meaning that spark of God and goodness and love and possibility that resides in all of us. There's a jewel at each intersection that reflects all of the other jewels. That was 5,000 years ago. And then speed ahead a few thousand years to the time of Jesus, and Jesus, speaking as the Logos, said, I am the vine, the one, and you are the branches. When I am in you and you are in me, great fruit will be produced. When we're connected to our source and to each other, there'll be abundance of goodness, that fruit that Emily was talking about in her reading that's so tasty and beautiful. That's there when we feel our oneness. But if not, there is nothing. And that was 2,000 years later. And also, the Apostle Paul says in the Bible, there's only one body, and he talked about the body of the human, but he meant the body of life also. There's one body with many parts, each as important as the next. And he explained that the eye can't say to the hand, well, I really don't need you, because the eye can't really understand. We need each other no matter what. All parts need to work together for the good of the whole. And I love that. And Ernest Holmes, and I'm going to read this one because he uses the word universal livingness, which we know as God, permeates all things. We should see the world of multiplicity deeply rooted in a universe of unity. This is a time we all need to remember that. There's more than just my story. We all have a my story, which is really important. We have a my story. But we've got to look at our personal story and really think about it. As Shakespeare said, "Oh, the tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive." And I think the biggest deception we can give ourselves is that we're separate, we're alone, that, hey, I'm created in the image and likeness of God. I really don't know about you. We can have those questions. You know, this thought of oneness, some of us don't really want to say, hey, we're one, because we don't really like the people over there. We don't like the things over there. I don't want to be one with it all, right? So we get in this dualistic thinking and we create my story. And my story becomes the important story instead of remembering we are in this web of life. And in this tangled web that comes from deception and dualistic thinking, we'll do anything to protect our little piece of the web. We get rigid and unwilling to understand there's something way bigger going on. And when Randy was talking about being in that flow of healing that was so beautiful, I think about our unwillingness really to see a bigger picture. Our unwillingness is like standing in this babbling brook of fresh, clean water, way up to your knees. You're just standing there, and you're looking around screaming, "Will somebody bring me some water? I'm thirsty." We're not even recognizing all of the possibilities and gifts that surround us and fill us. We are so stuck in our tunnel vision and only seeing one way. We can't even realize all we need to do is reach down and drink the beautiful water and be filled with what we've already been given. It's all there for us, for you, for me, for each and every one of us. And so I just want you to think now, how tangly are you? Because if we just open up, the nature in the reading this morning and Randy's healing and all of that is about being open and in the flow of goodness. Spirit, God, love, universal livingness, whatever you want to call that one power, equally distributes gifts to everyone. Just like that one body, we have a specific part to play. None are better. They're all given equally, all just as important. We all have that concealed within us, waiting to be revealed and expressed through our thoughts, through our actions, and our purpose in life. We need to see something more. There's something more at work. I want you to think, how tangly are you right now? Because what Carl Jung said, he said that everything that bothers you, everything that irritates you can lead you to a greater understanding of yourself. But you have to be willing to ask, why in the world am I so irritated by this? Is there something in me, what do I need to do? I mean, we can stay in that agitation and anger and get the webs just more tangled up, or we can understand more about who we are and what is ours to do, what place is ours to hold right here and right now. Yes, everyone is rooted in that whole, and everyone had the wholeness, oneness, not in the hole that we're digging, I didn't mean that, but in the oneness. Everyone's rooted in that oneness, and we all have a gift, but we know that God does not argue. If we choose not to use our gift and be a smudge on that little mirror reflected in everything, we can do that. Or we can choose to stand tall, clean ourselves off, really accept who we are. Because first we got to clean up our personal story, and then we move to our story in the web of life. And we realize that we are in this together. And God depends on us to be its expression just as much as we depend on that power and presence of goodness and healing and possibility and joy to be expressed in our life. Well, those of you that know me know that I taught kindergarten and primary grades for a really long time, and I love kids, I love stories, I love to read stories to my kids. And there's a story, a little piece of a story, just a few paragraphs I'd like to share with you that I think talks about the importance of our story. How important it is for you and me and all of us to be able to see through the illusion of appearances, to find the spark of God, of goodness, of purpose within. The story is The Velveteen Rabbit by Marjorie Williams. And for those of you that don't know, it's a children's book. It's written by a British author. A story of a little velveteen rabbit that lives in a little boy's nursery. And he wants to be real, and how he gets healed by the love of a little boy. And he meets, in this nursery, he meets the skin horse, who is real. He has real horse fur on him, and he's real, and he's just so in awe. And skin horse is very wise. So here's just a few little paragraphs I want to read. Real isn't how you're made, said the skin horse. It's a thing that happens to you. When a child loves you for a long, long time, not just to play with, but really loves you, then you become real. Does it hurt? Asked Rabbit. Sometimes, said the skin horse, because he's always truthful. But when you're real, you don't mind being hurt. When you're real, you don't mind being hurt. Does it happen all at once, like when things get wound up, said the rabbit, or is it just bit by bit? Oh, it doesn't happen all at once, said the skin horse. It takes a long time. That's why it doesn't often happen to people who break easily, or have sharp edges, or who have to be carefully kept. Generally, by the time you're real, by the time you are real, most of your hair has been loved off. Your eyes drop out. You get loose in the joints and very shabby. But these things don't matter at all, because once you are real, you can't be ugly. You just can't be ugly, except to people who don't understand. We can take that story from the point of the Velveteen Rabbit, who just so wanted to be loved and to be seen for who he really is. And there's a part of us in all of that who just wants to be loved and be seen and accepted for who we are, and to be able to embrace and celebrate our uniqueness, because we're each unique and special. We want to be able to celebrate that and honor it. And so think about the part of you that needs a little more extra love and hugs and tenderness, and truly own who you are and stand taller and being unique and special as an emanation of spirit right here and now. Or we can look at it from the eyes of the little boy. He knows how to love unconditionally. He can see past the quirks and the things that aren't perfect, to love and see what we would call the God, the Holy Spirit, the love, the goodness. He can see that. And that's what we need to clean off our mirrors. It was Rumi who said, if you get irritated by every rub, how are you going to polish your mirror? We need to polish our mirrors to see beyond the physical illusions of all the problems and know there's something bigger at work, and we have a part to play right here and right now. Right in this moment, we have something to do. So I'm going to give you a little homework. I want you to think, and we're not going to go too far out right now. We're just going to stay right in our immediate collection of people, with our family and our friends, our closest people to us. I bet everybody would say, oh, I love them unconditionally, right? Maybe. Sort of, a little bit. We all get irritated by those rubs, but where, just today, just for today, try it out. Where can you love more unconditionally? Just someone closest to you. Because there's something magic about love. You know, Ernest Holmes says the two greatest gifts of spirit are love and creativity. Love and creativity. When you love someone deeply and can see past the quirks and the imperfections, when you can love them deeply, even if that love in them, that spark in them is covered up, it's kind of magic, like Randy was talking about. Things start to flow and loosen because love changes things. Changes things, makes things different. And if we're able to love the things that we don't see as easy to love at first, not only will our personal story change and our individual story change, but the story of life will change. Ernest Holmes said the most important thing we have to strive for is to love one another. Not an easy journey. We've got a long time to be doing it, but it's so much easier when we get in that flow to be able to see we are one. That everyone is a center of divine love. Everyone, not some people, but all people. It's just covered up a lot more in some people because we're not all evolved at the same level, but it's there in everyone. And that's why I said when we love, it starts to melt that covering that we get. Starts to melt it. And if we remember that we need to take that time to be in the still, small, quiet place that we can center into our divine center so we can do God's work in beautiful ways, to be that expression of light, of love, of joy, of goodness. And when we're not, to really be questioning and asking why. What's keeping me separate and how can I make that step to heal me? Because that's really all we can do right now. 57 years ago was when Martin Luther King made the March on Washington. And I want to read a quote of his that I think is very applicable for this time and this day, and really recognizing and knowing that we are in this beautiful web of life. We matter, and so does everyone else. Our world, through advancements in technology and science, is geographically one. Now we are facing the challenge of making it spiritually one. Through our scientific genius, we have made of the world a neighborhood. Now, through our moral and spiritual genius, we must make of it a brotherhood and a sisterhood. We are all involved in a single process. Whatever affects one greatly affects all indirectly. We are all links in this great chain of humanity. It was very interesting in that book I shared from Fritjof Capra about the web of life. He said in this beautiful web of life, wow, humans are just one small part. One small part. Nature can move very easily and grow and continue without humans. It is a gift to be here. We are not here to dominate or control. We're here to be in cooperation, in understanding, and in oneness. That's why we're here. This life is a gift. please join me in a prayer and just put your feet in that beautiful, cool brook of babbling consciousness and spirit and love and beauty and goodness, because possibilities and infinite goodness are already here right now. We don't even have to move. Right here in this moment, we are surrounded and filled with the infinite energy of God and goodness and love and possibilities. We're being called on. There's a knock on our hearts and our minds right now to open, become flexible, become willing to see your greater good. Right now, that knock is saying, open up, open your heart, open your mind. Say yes to seeing beyond the dualistic thinking, to see beyond the negativity, the problems, the chaos, and know that our light makes a difference. We have a place in this world right here and right now. This world, just as a body, needs to be healed and to grow and to become the greatest version of itself. And we are the hands and the feet and the mind and the heart that makes that happen. In this moment, I know for each and every one of us that we have a significant and honorable part to play in the unfoldment of life in this moment, moving to the betterment of ourselves and the betterment of the world in which we live. We are not here by accident. We are here absolutely to accept the gifts that have been given, to appreciate the beauty of life and learn the lessons it has to teach. I just know for each and every one of us that love is a healing factor. And I invite us in this moment to feel the love of God just fill us and permeate us right now. And to know right here we are deeply loved, we are deeply cared for in this moment right now. How good it is. We just say thank you for all of this that we know and have yet to learn. And we release it to the infinite mind of the one that only knows to say, yes, it is done right here, right now. And we seal this by saying, and so it is. Thank you all for being here, live stream, Facebook Live, and those of you that are here. It makes my life more complete because I get to love and be loved in a beautiful way. Thank you.